All right, we've seen some signs of encouragement when it comes to the economy of late. Friday's jobs number. We did not lose nearly as many jobs as we had been losing, and we lost fewer jobs than we feared we might lose. So bad news, we're still losing jobs. Good news, we're not losing jobs nearly as quickly as we were just a couple of months ago. Joining us, a man who represents, in his own way, hope, much as our contortionist in Times Square does, in a different sort of way. Tony Chan, CEO, founder of the Cue Ball Group Venture and Early Growth. You're an investor, basically. You look for people with good ideas and place your bets and try and help them succeed, and that's basically capitalism at work. God bless. However, we're now in this recession. There's all the bailout. This isn't even capitalism anymore. You just get all these things. How do we get back to the basics of, on an individual level, making things work during the recession? In other words, for whether it's a little small business in a small town in America or a big business that has been kicked around by the obvious headwinds. Cash is king, you say, is the first thing on the list.
Yeah, I mean that's the first basic. That's the first basic element. I mean, we have seen in this downturn that it all comes back to the fundamentals, and I think what we forget is that life or managing business is much more like a marathon rather than a sprint. And the problem that we've had in this downturn is we've just completely panicked and overreacted. I mean, that exacerbated by the information flow. So if you think about it, over the long run, if you have a kid who's 8 years old and you try to predict the weekly height that your kid will grow, probably a pretty tough thing to be within 10%.
And then if you create a speculative parlor game based on how tall he'll be next week,
that's basically what we have. But if you try to guess, like within 10%, when the kid is 18 years old, you'll probably be approximately correct. So we have a tendency to be what I call macromyopic. We completely overestimate short-term impact and underestimate long-term.
But isn't that a policy failure? In other words, there was a national policy to liberalize practices on Wall Street to create a very short-term speculative culture that was, how tall will he be next week?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a policy issue. I think it's a DNA issue. I just think human nature is such that we are short-term.
Surely it is, but policy, there's no question it's human nature, but human nature is then able to influence policy to say, listen, let us sit around speculating how tall he'll be next week so we don't have to worry about how tall he'll be when he's 18 or she's 18.
Well, I mean, I think whether it's policy, whether it's greed, whether it's people's ability to do value capture as opposed to value creation, because I do think we were in a period of about 10 years where there's just incredible opportunities to use debt, have value capture versus
explain what you mean when you say value capture.
Well, I think value capture is like, not really necessarily creating something. We'll get to the second lesson around innovation, but you have these aberrations or arbitrage opportunities, i.e. you have...
Just wait for me to pick off money. It's a vampire capitalism.
That could be innovative.
Yeah. It could be financial innovation.
But the thing is, capitalism, you have to, if the way you're innovating is innovating ways to steal, that's not capitalism. If you're innovating ways to invest better, if you're innovating ways to do anything else, and so where Wall Street kind of bamboozled us is they're like, oh, we're just innovating, but we're innovating ways to take your money. Very quickly here, innovation and creativity
still matters. I mean, what's made this country great is that we have a country and culture where if you have a good idea, it can create a lot of value. Even in this downturn, think about it. I mean, we have seen, whether it's Apple iPhone, whether it's a Twitter, whether it's as simplistic
it's all technology.
It's not. Well, what I was going to say is that I'll give you a very simple example. So we have invested and helped create a concept called Minilux, which is Starbucking nail salons. Okay, there's 65,000 nail salons where people get manicures and pedicures in the country. Innovation around hygiene and health.
Right,
innovation around experience. Right. Innovation around how you order your nails. Maniacally understanding the customer. So are you like, you'll get this. Are you oval? Are you round? Are you squoval? Are you short, medium, long? What color palette? I mean, just basic innovation on making.
Wow, that's not technology.
There you go.
I mean, that's innovation on a very
innovation doesn't have to be a capital I. Innovation has to be just either experiential, something better, better value for
I just like when innovation is not used as ways to innovate to take money from everybody else. That's the only kind of innovation I don't much care for. Tony, a pleasure to meet you. Nice to see you.